Jussie Smollett is heading to trial today, 3 years after he was accused of staging a hate crime against himself. Joni is live right now at the courthouse, and she has the very latest. Any sign of the actor?
Hi, Anita. No sign just yet. We are awaiting the arrival of Jussie Smollett. He's expected to be here at this hour, along with his attorneys and members of his family. There's a group that's gathered at the bottom of the stairs. It appears to be attorneys right now. There were years of hearings that he attended here in Chicago, but now here we are with jury selection about to begin in the trial of Jussie Smollett. Smollett lived in downtown Chicago while he was working on the Fox show Empire. He claimed that he was attacked by two men outside his Streeterville apartment on a cold night in January 2019. It was investigated. Police determined that he staged the attack to further his acting career and hired two men, the Osendero brothers, to carry it all out. There was video of the scene, but not the alleged attack. Smollett told police he was beaten, a rope was put around his neck, and the attackers used hate language. He was accused of filing a false report, and State's Attorney Kim Foxx dropped the charges. Then a special prosecutor came in, and now all this goes to trial. Live outside the criminal courts building, we see that a dark-colored vehicle has showed up, and we're waiting to see who gets out of it. I believe that I see his attorney, Tina Glandian, from California. As I said, there's another group just past all those photographers who are trained on the street. That's California Avenue out there, and a group of other people who are standing at the bottom, probably awaiting Jussie Smollett as well. As I said, he is expected to arrive with his family. He has a number of siblings who have been supportive to him, but right now that group is just standing at the bottom of the stairs, and we're waiting for them to come inside. Back to you.
Joni, I'm just looking at your live picture right here, right now. It looks like you've got a lot of cameras out there. Is this typically what you see for the Jussie Smollett case?
There are a number of cameras here, local and from the networks as well. It is about the number that we would expect. The odd thing about these proceedings today, we had just learned that due to COVID precautions, that reporters will not be allowed in the courtroom for jury selection because there just isn't enough room for the reporters and the members of the jury. I think we can see Jussie Smollett in the group right now.
Yeah, you can see him here on television. I don't know where your vantage point is. I know you're doing this report here, but clearly he is walking in this morning, and that would be him right behind. I'm thinking that is him to the far left. He's got a blue tie there and a face mask. Hard to tell with the masks on, but Joni, I'm used to seeing the cameras kind of crush him when he comes in. Didn't see that happening this time.
Well, there are plenty of people here who are trying to see if he has any comment to make before he goes in. He has been silent, but his attorneys are with him, and you were right, he's the one in the blue who's entering the doors right now. The sheriff's police are in the inside trying to clear the group so that they can get inside for these court proceedings, which were supposed to begin at 9 o'clock this morning, the jury selection process. But now we have Jussie Smollett and his attorneys just arriving right now, and they'll be going up to see the courtroom of James Lynn. I was talking about the rules of the court. There will be no reporters inside for jury selection, though they can check in on the process. And as jury members are selected and room is made, then the reporters will be allowed to go in. No cameras in the courtroom, and no live streaming, and no audio feed of this. So reporters who are there in person are going to be the ones who are telling this story. Dane Placco is reporting that part for us. Back to you.
Well, and you know, for those of you who are just tuning in right now, we are looking at a live picture of the inside of the criminal courts building at 26th in California, the inside look, and we're waiting for Jussie Smollett, the actor who is going on trial. Well, the trial begins today with the jury selection. We're waiting for him to come through the metal detectors. Joni, I want to just keep you here really quickly. Do we have any clue at this point, and maybe this is what you're going to be able to ask his attorney at some point today, is there any indication that he might take the stand in his own defense?
that's what we're going to do.
His attorneys haven't said anything publicly for a while, so it's not known, although they have said that he wants his story known. He has said in interviews prior to the trial that he still believes that he's a victim, that he's sticking to that story, that there are no changes to it. But now he's here to defend himself against these charges, lower-level felony charges, for which he could receive probation or jail time. But he doesn't have a criminal record, and so we don't know how that's going to go. So right now, we don't know whether he's going to take the stand, but that certainly would be dramatic.
And certainly it would be interesting to see what the Sondario brothers have to say, because we were interviewing an expert earlier today, and he said that their testimony is going to be key for the defense here. And Joni, as you well enough know, there have been a lot of SNL skits about the brothers and their relationship with Jussie Smollett. And so how they present themselves in court and not be a caricature of themselves for this proceedings is going to be really key.
Initially, they were accused of this crime. They were treated as suspects because they were seen in that video, and they were trying to check out Jussie Smollett's claims. And then, they were held for a long time before they were able to tell their story. There was a grand jury, and so you're right, the way they come off across on the witness stand when they tell their story of how they knew Jussie Smollett previously from their work on Empire and working out with him, we'll see if the jury decides if this was indeed a hoax.